Thank you so much for doing this with me today, Adam.
You're very welcome.
I hear you're just in Pittsburgh. Did you have fun?
I did. Yeah. I had a blast. It was actually Britt's birthday this week.
Oh, wow.
So it was cool. She has a long history in Pittsburgh. So it was cool that it worked out that AEW was there this week. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you recently celebrated 14 years in wrestling. So does it feel like 14 years? And can you see yourself going to 30 like Jericho?
Yeah. So yes and no, as far as the 14 years. Like it both feels like it's been so long, and then it also feels like it just yesterday I had my first match or whatever. So but I'm very reflective. Like I do like to think back on all the cool stuff I've gotten to do and the places I've gotten to go and stuff like that. And I'm very, very happy that at 32 years old, 14 years into pro wrestling, I've gotten to do what I've gotten to do. But yeah, as far as that, I see myself, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'm someone who can hit that 30-year mark in pro wrestling. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. If my body holds up okay, I think I'll be good to go.
So if we had done this a week ago, we would have had to talk about speculation, but now we can talk about the actual event because the Forbidden Door is happening. And I know like all the fans were excited. I'm excited. I booked my flights last night, so I'm
nice,
like high excitement level. What's your excitement level and like the feeling backstage in the locker room about it?
Yeah, everyone, as far as in the locker room, everyone is so stoked for this. Again, New Japan Pro Wrestling has some of the best pro wrestlers on the planet. I know a lot of people who do watch AEW also watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, and there's a lot of people who watch one or the other. There are some people that have never watched AEW that just support New Japan, and there are some people that just watch AEW and have never seen New Japan before. So it's like this really exciting combination of a bunch of people who know and are like, guys, trust us, this show is going to be awesome. And then there's a bunch of people who are very excited to see some of these guys or some matches that they've never seen before. So yeah, I'm thrilled at the idea. I think the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling, some of my fondest moments years ago were over in New Japan. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for this event. I think it's going to be awesome.
I was going to ask you if you have a best New Japan memory, whether it's in the ring or outside of the ring.
Oh, great question. Okay, I'll give you two.
Okay.
I think overall my favorite memory over in New Japan was I won the Ring of Honor World Title for a third time in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom against Kyle O'Reilly. So that was like, just to be able to say that you've wrestled in the Tokyo Dome and at a Wrestle Kingdom is a massive bucket list thing to be able to check off. So that was really cool. And to this day, no one's been a 3-time ROH world champion. So like, it was a really, really big night for me. And then as far as outside of the ring, probably when me, Kenny, and the Bucks filmed that Call Me Maybe video on BTE, that was a really, really fun day where we got to go all around Japan and goof off and have fun hanging out together. So yeah, those are the two moments, inside and outside the ring.
So it was actually you that got to make the announcement that the show was happening. What was that like, for you being the roster member that got to do it?
There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure, which by the way, too, not that this matters, but the announcement that I had made backstage, that was very live. Like that was not a taped thing. That was happening in the moment. And again, I know that a lot of people are very excited about this show, very excited about the announcement. So while still being Adam Cole, but being able to deliver this really, really cool news was like, aside from it being a lot of pressure, it was so cool. Like the fact that I got to be the one to talk about it was awesome. So.
And the other person helping you there was Jay White. So yes. With him, like, what was your first introduction to him? Was it when he was a young boy? And what was like your first impression?
Yeah. So I met Jay White years ago when he was actually traveling with Ring of Honor, when he was still breaking into New Japan. So he got to have all these matches with different guys on the Ring of Honor roster to try to get him ready to go back to New Japan. And I actually had my first match with Jay White in Milwaukee in Ring of Honor. It was one of my favorite matches I had in ROH, and Jay felt the exact same way. So to see him from where he's been and what he's grown into has been so fun and so cool, because I think the world of Jay White. I think he's incredible in the ring. He's incredible on the microphone, and he probably would hate me to say this, but he's a great person too.
Well, having been out of New Japan for a couple of years has changed. There's new people in there. So who in there would you like to face that you've never had contact with before?
Oh, that I've never had a singles match with Okada. I've wrestled Okada before in like a 6-man tag team match in Ring of Honor, but we barely had any interaction together. I've wrestled Tanahashi, just wrestled Ishii, which was really cool. Wrestled Jushin Liger, Yoshihashi, like so many different guys. But I would love like a classic one-on-one singles match with Okada at some point. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So back to AEW then. When you came into AEW, you're reunited with the Bucks, the Super Click. How easy was it for you to find your rhythm with them again? Like not just in the ring, but doing all the Being the Elite stuff as well?
Yeah, we all joked about it the first couple of weeks, but it was insane how easy it was. It was like I never left. Like it was our humor and timing was still the exact same on BTE. In the ring, when we teamed together, there was never that like readjustment phase, which you always kind of expect, because I was gone for almost 5 years. I hadn't been in the ring with them whatsoever for quite some time. But again, I've always stayed close with the Bucks. Like even my entire run in WWE, we always talked. We always stayed in touch. If they were in town or I was in town, we would get together and eat some food and catch up and stuff like that. So the relationship never went away, which was great. And that definitely helps, I think. But yeah, as far as in the ring and on BTE and stuff, it's crazy, but there was literally no adjustment needed. Like it was just going right back to what we were doing. We just have, I feel like me and those guys have such incredible chemistry, and those guys feel the exact same way. So,
well, with you saying there that you never lost touch or anything, and you stayed friends, and maybe this is something that you can only think about now that you're in AEW, but when you saw them doing Being the Elite and AEW, did you have like a bit of FOMO, or are you glad that you took that time to be away from them and be NXT Adam Cole and now get to come?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I cherished my time in NXT, and I would not change a thing about the way that my career has gone. I think in a lot of ways, my time in NXT made me a better performer. It put me in a position where I got to learn under guys that I idolized. Yeah. Like, Triple H was a guy that I really looked up to, and I formed a great relationship with him, and he helped me a lot. Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler of all time. In my opinion, just the greatest ever. And we still have a wonderful relationship where, again, we still keep in touch and we still talk and stuff like that. So, and he helped me more than anybody. He was just so helpful on so many different levels. So yeah, definitely do not regret at all my time in NXT. I loved my time there. The roster at the time was just unbelievable as well. So yeah, honest to God, I really wouldn't change anything about the pattern in which my career's gone.
Do you feel like you've had pretty good timing though? Because I feel like you came into NXT at the right moment to make that pop, and then you kind of left at the right moment as well. It's like, is that something you think about? Like the timing's pretty good.
All the time. Like it's my whole career. I don't know how this has happened, but I feel like whether it be Ring of Honor or CZW where I started, or New Japan or whatever, I feel like I've gotten so lucky in so many different ways as far as like the timing of stuff that has happened. So absolutely. To me, NXT was like, peaking as I was coming in. And then I got to work with all these guys that I've known for years and years and years. It ended up on television, which was really, really cool. So, and again, yeah, now with AEW, same thing. I feel like I'm at a point where AEW is just doing this right now.
Yeah.
And I think they will for years and years. So, yes, I definitely have talked often about, wow, I've been very lucky when it comes to the timing of this stuff.
Well, then you got Bobby and Kyle in AEW, you were reunited with them. So is that like, did you always think, yeah, we're going to associate together in AEW, or did you guys ever discuss like just leaving that behind?
So I never knew exactly what Bobby and Kyle were going to do.
Mhm.
Because again, I think so highly of them that no matter where they go, I think they'll be successful. But absolutely, when it became an option or a possibility that maybe all of us could work together again, I was 100% on board with that. But those guys had a decision to make as far as what they wanted to do, where they wanted to go, all that stuff. And I know that Kyle and Bobby look back on the Undisputed Era very fondly, just like I do. So to be able to team with those guys again, I've known Kyle since 2009. I started wrestling in 2008, and he's been one of my best friends ever since. Like I've been in his wedding. We talk every single day. Same thing with Bobby. So yeah, it's been awesome to have those guys in AEW now. It's been great.
So you've got your association with the Bucks, the Super Click, and then you've
Mhm.
got Bobby and Kyle, Red Dragon. So you're like in the middle. It's like you're at the center of everything. It's everyone's like orbiting around you. So when you think about that, does it sometimes make it hard to balance when you're, say, focusing on like the big singles feud with Adam Page that's so important? You've got that all going on. Like, how do you kind of balance that as a performer?
Yeah, to me, like I try to take a situation like that, like you said, because it is a lot of stuff to cover in 2 hours of television a lot of times. But to me, it's so flattering to be like so involved in so many important things on the show. Like again, like I'm challenging for the world championship against the current champion who's killing it and doing an amazing job. And then we have this group drama with Bobby and Kyle and the Young Bucks. So, but the more opportunity I get to be on the show and involved in different things, it just challenges me as a wrestler. So I like having so much stuff to do. I think it's really fun.
So recently you and Britt got to work together. And
Yes.
so when you came into AEW, it's like they weren't hiding from everyone knows you two are together, but actually doing an angle together and then leading to the match, like how did you guys make that decision and like the time being right for that?
Yeah, so that was really cool because there was a phase where I finished up with ROH before I was going to go to NXT. And for 3 months, I had been doing independent shows leading up to my NXT debut. And this was right around the time where I started dating Britt.
Yes.
So I would be booked on shows where she would be also booked on the show. And we got to team a couple of times in that 3 month period, which was really cool. So then I, of course, go to NXT. Britt is with AEW, and I get to watch Britt develop into this amazing performer that she's turned into. So coming into AEW, of course, right away, I'm thinking, oh man, it's going to be so cool and so much fun when we get the chance to team up together.
Yeah.
It just felt like the right time, in that moment to be able to go that route with the angle I was doing with Orange Cassidy. So yeah, standing in the ring with her, there's a picture of us, or maybe it's a GIF. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but that's always what I've called it.
Me too.
Where we're standing there warming up. We're standing in the ring and Britt's in her gear and I'm in my gear and we're looking at the entrance ramp, and it makes me so happy because for years me and Britt have always been used to long distance relationships because that's how we started. So but getting to actually be behind the curtain when she walks through or walk to the ring with her versus like a 5-minute FaceTime afterwards is much nicer. And like you said, a lot of people know that we're together, but we hadn't really acknowledged it on screen. So I'm glad we got the chance to do that on screen and have that match. It was really fun, really, really fun.
When there was the whole, is Adam Cole going to go to NXT discussion, I would see a lot on Twitter, and I will say it was guys arguing about whether someone would or wouldn't want to work with their girlfriend, like whether that was a good or bad thing. So
Sure.
for you, like it sounds like it's been a very positive. Are there any negatives to working with that person?
God, okay, I'll try to think of something because I don't want to just say no, because that's not
Yeah.
fun.
And nothing that will get you in trouble.
No, of course, no, but I really, this is a real thing, is it's interesting when you're in there with someone that you love so much.
Mhm.
You do worry about them
Yeah.
more than normal. Like when Britt wrestles in a big match, like the cage match she had with Thunder Rosa, I get more nervous for that than my own stuff. You know, I still get very nervous for my own performances, but when it's someone that you care about and you worry about their safety and all that stuff,
Mhm.
I'm back there just pacing and watching the whole time. So being in there, like in the ring with her and watching her, like if something looks like it was like a nasty fall or whatever, I try my best to like stay in that Adam Cole zone of not thinking about anything else other than the match. But so yeah, I'd say the biggest negative, if you want to call it one, is just I worry about her more.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's a positive across the board. We get to stay in the same hotel. We travel together. I get to hang out with her at TV all day. It's great. It's exactly what you would want if it's someone that you really love to spend time with.
On that, when Britt had the lights out match, the original one, so you weren't there, you were in NXT.
Yeah.
Was it harder knowing she was doing that and not being there, or was it harder being at the cage match and watching it then?
Oh, great question. I think it was definitely harder not knowing.
Yeah.
Because especially as well, I was kind of waiting to hear how it went.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't even gotten to see it, take place live, because this was at a point where stuff was pre-taped because of the pandemic that we were in. So I was just waiting I had my phone and I'm just staring at it, just waiting to get the info. And fortunately, a good friend of mine, Jeff Jones, immediately when he could FaceTime me to let me know that she was okay. But yeah, fear of the unknown to me is always worse. I have a crazy imagination, so so being there was much easier than not being there.
Yeah. So we also recently got the news that Tony has bought Ring of Honor, and you talked before about your history of Ring of Honor. So how did you feel hearing the news that Tony was the new owner?
No, it's fantastic news. The biggest thing is because, again, aside from Tony being a wonderful boss and a wonderful guy, he is a wonderful professional wrestling fan. Like, he respects and admires the history of so many different wrestlers, promotions, what have you. And I feel like Tony understands and appreciates what Ring of Honor really did for the pro wrestling industry more than anyone. He gets it. So I know ROH is going to be in good hands with the fact that Tony Khan is the one in charge of the company now. And I was thrilled because, again, I would not be sitting here talking to you today if it was not for ROH. Like, I owe Ring of Honor so much. So to know that it still has the chance to continue and creating this new and different legacy, still with just excellent professional wrestling, has me so thrilled and so happy, especially for the current roster that's there, and for the fans. So
would getting to have a match there again be a huge deal for you, like a coming home moment?
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool for me. Again, because so far the longest I was in Ring of Honor for 7 years.
Yeah.
And that was the longest I've ever worked for a company. So I was there I signed my first contract in ROH. God, I learned so much there. And again, I like my one of my proudest moments was I had a hybrid fighting rules match with Kyle O'Reilly in 2012 in the Hammerstein Ballroom. And it was at a point where me and Kyle were still kind of working our way up the ladder, and we were still pretty unknown, and he busted me open and I'm bleeding everywhere. And that like skyrocketed both of our careers. So again, when I look back at ROH and I think about how much fun I had there, oh my God, the idea of getting to go back and have a match or talk to the fans would be amazing. I would love it.
So after you left WWE, you were associated with Keith Lee, and like people were talking about what could have gone on between you. Now he's in AEW. Like, what is it like, kind of seeing him now getting that chance to be himself, really, over in AEW?
Yeah, I love Keith so much. As long as he's not pouncing me into the
Yeah.
crowd, then I love him. But yeah, Keith is just, he's unbelievable. Like it's so fun to watch him um, wrestle and perform and do his thing. And now knowing that he's going to be in an environment where, again, there's a lot of fresh faces and new people that he's going to have the chance to have awesome matches with. A lot of people that he has wrestled before that he'll continue to have awesome matches with. I think the world of Keith Lee, and I'm glad that he's happy because he does. He seems very, very happy where he is, and he deserves to be.
So the last time we spoke, you were preparing for a big match. You were preparing for a match with Pat McAfee.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I was watching WrestleMania, and it kind of felt like that match never happened with the package they showed.
Right.
But for you, like having worked with him, like what do you think of his potential as a sports entertainer?
Yeah. As a person, he's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Can't stand him. But if I will look objectively and talk about how much potential he has, like you said, Pat McAfee blows my mind. He is so athletically gifted. As far as the wrestling part, he's done great. Everyone knows he can talk for hours, and he's super compelling and interesting. Pat knocked it out of the park. He did an amazing, amazing job. As far as potential of where he could go and what he could do in the pro wrestling industry, I think he could go as far as he wants to. Yeah, seriously, like it was, to me, it was one of the highlights of the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Was Pat's match. So he's a terrible person, but a lot of potential. A lot of potential.
So you're really active on Twitch, and you've built such a community there. Just how important is it for you to have that outside of wrestling outlet to still interact with your fans?
Yeah, it's vital. When I say vital, I really mean vital. Like I Twitch and video games are not just like something for me to do to pass the time anymore. It's a real passion of mine. It's like pro wrestling and video games are my two things that I'm really, really passionate about. And originally when the pandemic hit, I had been planning on streaming on Twitch forever because I got super into video games in 2015. And Britt, one year for Christmas, got me all the streaming equipment, like 2 years before I started streaming. And I kept putting it off because I was so busy. I was on the road like 5 days a week. And to me, the process, it felt so overwhelming, the unknown, as we were talking about earlier. I'm like, I don't know how to do it, and it's going to take me forever. And then when the pandemic happened, I was like, okay, I don't have an excuse anymore. So originally I'm like, oh, cool, I'll get to talk to a bunch of people that play video games and like them like I do. And now it's become like, seriously, something I genuinely look forward to. And if I am not able to for an extended amount of time, I really miss it, and it makes me sad. Like I hate not being able to stream for like a week or whatever. I'm like, oh my god, I got to get on there and say hi to everyone. But it's really, really cool because I think a lot of people don't realize how many friendships are made on there and how much it can be helpful to some people. Like again, if someone gets a job promotion or has a child or whatever, we celebrate it, we talk about it, and it's great. And it's so important to make people feel included and important. And you can't do that all the time, but fortunately with the Twitch outlet, you can, even from an internet standpoint. So it does just as much for me. Like it is the ultimate recharge, fun thing for me to do, especially when I've been super, super busy. And getting to talk to this community, like they are just the nicest, sweetest group of people that you could ever ask for. It's crazy how sweet they are. So I love it to death. It all started with a love from video games, but now the community itself is just amazing. It's twitch.tv/thechugs.
Well, finally on that, like you yourself are such a nice guy, and
Oh, thank you.
but you're not on TV. So do you like doing the Twitch? Do you find it like easy to like just separate them and the fans accept you separating them? Or did you ever have a moment of, well, I'm playing this asshole on TV. Should I go on Twitch and be so nice? Like, did you ever think about that?
Yeah, that was like a thing that entered my head for a minute, where I was thinking, oh man, should I be more of my television character on
Yeah.
Twitch instead of just being myself? And I thought about it. That was a big reason I'm not Adam Cole on Twitch. That's
Yeah.
why I'm Chugs on Twitch, because I want to make sure that the two were completely separated for sure. But again, I thought about it, and this is a completely different outlet for me that doesn't involve pro wrestling whatsoever. And there is like this satisfaction and this feeling of, again, when you feel like, even in a small way, if you're helping somebody or some people through a rough time, because I can't tell you how many times, like, God, we used to do the DeParty videos where it was me, Creed, Breeze, and Swiss all filming those videos. And the amount of people that we've talked to who say, hey, something really bad happened this week and the videos got me through it. It's the same thing with the Twitch channel. So to me, that's more important than feeling like I need to be Adam Cole 24/7.
Yes.
And I think the fans respect that difference, and they know that the two are very, very separate. I will give you the biggest jerk in the world on television, and I promise I will try my best to perform to the best of my ability for the way that my character is supposed to be. But when I'm Chugs, I'm just being myself.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adam. It's been great to talk to you today.
Yes, great to talk to you as well. Thank you.